You've been working backwards your entire life. You've been chasing money when money should be chasing you. You've been begging for opportunities when opportunities should be begging for you. You've been hoping for wealth when wealth should be inevitable. And today, right now, that ends. Because I'm about to give you the 7 laws that Napoleon Hill discovered through studying 500 of the most successful men in history. The same laws that transformed Andrew Carnegie from a poor immigrant boy into the richest man on earth, that lifted Henry Ford from a farm laborer to an automotive emperor, that elevated Thomas Edison from a failed inventor to the Wizard of Menlo Park. But here's what Hill never told the public. There was one conversation, one secret Carnegie whispered to him on his deathbed that changed everything. And by the end of this message, you'll know exactly what that secret was. These aren't tips. These aren't strategies. These are spiritual laws as exact as gravity, as certain as sunrise. And if you're serious about becoming the kind of person money chases instead of someone who chases money, then hit subscribe right now, because I'm going to be walking with you through the full journey. Not just today, but every step ahead. This isn't motivation. This is your rebirth. And by the end of this message, you won't just know what to do. You'll know who to become. But let me warn you, this will require you to kill the old you, the you who settles, the you who accepts scraps, the you who thinks wealth belongs to other people. That man dies today, and in his place rises someone money cannot ignore, someone wealth actively seeks, someone the universe conspires to enrich. And there's a reason why 99% of people who learn these laws still fail miserably. I'll reveal exactly why in just a moment. The first law is brutal in its simplicity. You must decide, not hope, not wish, not try. Decide. And when I say decide, I mean with the finality of death. No backup plans, no safety nets, no let me see how it goes. Most men say they want wealth, but they've never actually decided to have it. They drift, they wonder, they entertain the possibility while clinging to the comfort of their limitations. But the universe does not reward the uncertain. Life does not respond to the hesitant. Money flees from the indefinite and races toward the man who commands it with decision. Andrew Carnegie understood this law when he told Napoleon Hill, "I will make you the richest man in America if you will devote 20 years to studying the laws of success." Hill didn't say, maybe. He didn't say, let me think about it. He said yes with such conviction that Carnegie saw the future millionaire in his eyes before Hill had written his first word. Here's what you must do right now. Write down the exact amount of money you will possess. Not more money. Not financial freedom. The exact figure. Then write the date by which you will possess it. Then write what you will give in return, what service, what value, what contribution you will make to earn it. Say this aloud now. I demand of myself the definite sum of your amount, and I will have it by your date. I will give your service in return. This is not a wish. This is a command. Speak it with fire. Speak it with conviction. Speak it until your voice no longer trembles. Because the moment you decide with finality, the universe begins to rearrange itself around your decision. But here's where most people make their fatal mistake with the first law. They decide with their mind, but not with their entire being. And that's exactly why the second law will shock you. You cannot attract wealth while keeping one foot in poverty consciousness. You cannot magnetize money while speaking the language of lack. Every word you speak is either a magnet for riches or a repellent. Every thought you think is either building wealth or destroying it. The second law demands that you burn the bridge to your old identity. No more saying, "I can't afford it." No more speaking of bills as burdens. No more using poverty as an excuse. From this moment forward, you speak only wealth, think only abundance, breathe only prosperity. But there's something Carnegie discovered about bridge burning that he only shared with 3 people in his entire life. Something that separates the truly wealthy from those who merely appear wealthy. Henry Ford burned his bridge when he declared, "I will build a motor car for the great multitude." Not, "I hope to," or "I'd like to." He declared it. And when critics said it was impossible, when experts said it couldn't be done, when the entire industry laughed at his vision, he didn't defend his dream, he executed it, because his bridge to doubt was already ash. Here's your bridge-burning ceremony. Write down every excuse you've used for not having wealth, every story about why money is hard to come by, every belief that keeps you small. Write them all down. Then burn the paper. Watch your limitations turn to smoke. As it burns, say aloud, "The man who makes excuses for poverty is dead. I no longer speak lack. I no longer think scarcity. I am wealthy in mind, and my reality must match my conviction." You are not reforming your old self. You are replacing him entirely. And the new you speaks only the language of wealth. But what I'm about to reveal in the 3rd law is where 90% of wealthy people fail. And it's the difference between millions and billions. The 3rd law is where most men fail because they think about wealth instead of thinking from wealth. They see money as something they don't have instead of something they already possess. But the mind that creates wealth doesn't hope for riches. It operates from riches. Napoleon Hill called this thinking from the end. You must see yourself already in possession of your fortune. Not, "One day I'll be rich," but "I am rich, and this is how I got here." Not, "I hope to own that business," but "I own that business, and this is how I run it." Charles M. Schwab understood this law perfectly. When he was still earning a laborer's wage, he walked, talked, and thought like the steel magnate he would become. He didn't wait for the promotion to act like a leader. He didn't wait for wealth to think like a wealthy man. He embodied the identity first, and the results followed. But here's the secret that even Schwab didn't know at first. There's a specific way to think from the end that multiplies your results by 10x. And it has to do with a technique Edison used that he called the invisible workshop. This is your daily practice. Every morning, close your eyes and step into the future where your wealth already exists. See the bank account. Feel the freedom. Experience the impact you're making. Live in that reality for 10 minutes. Make it so vivid that your nervous system believes it's happening now. Then, throughout your day, make decisions from that place. Ask yourself, what would the wealthy version of me do here? How would he think? How would he speak? How would he carry himself? Because the mind cannot tell the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. When you think from wealth consistently enough, your subconscious accepts it as fact and begins to create circumstances to match it. Say this now: I think from wealth, not toward it. I am already rich in mind, and my world must conform to my inner reality. But the 4th law is where things get spiritual, and it will challenge everything you believe about money. Here's the law that separates the truly wealthy from the merely greedy. Money doesn't chase selfish men. It chases servants. It flows toward those who solve problems, who add value, who make life better for others. The universe has a built-in radar for authentic service, and it rewards it with abundance. Too many people approach wealth backwards. They ask, "How can I get rich?" when they should ask, "How can I serve so powerfully that wealth becomes inevitable?" They focus on the receiving instead of the giving. But life doesn't work that way. You must become worthy of wealth before wealth becomes yours. Thomas Edison didn't set out to become wealthy. He set out to bring light to the world. Henry Ford didn't chase money. He chased the vision of putting America on wheels. Andrew Carnegie didn't seek riches. He sought to build the backbone of American industry. Their wealth was the universe's way of saying thank you for the value they created. But there's a hidden formula they all used, a specific ratio between giving and receiving that Carnegie called the golden multiplication. And when you get this ratio right, money doesn't just come to you, it floods to you. What problem keeps you awake at night? What injustice makes your blood boil? What inefficiency drives you mad? That's your calling. That's your path to wealth. Because the marketplace rewards those who solve its problems. And the bigger the problem you solve, the bigger the reward. Write this down. I will become wealthy by serving powerfully. My riches will be the reward for the value I create. Then identify one specific way you can serve starting today. Not tomorrow. Today. Because wealth isn't earned through clever schemes or shortcuts. It's earned through service so valuable that money has no choice but to follow. But what happens when you master service? That's when the fifth law becomes your secret weapon. The fifth law is environmental. You become who you surround yourself with. You think like those you spend time with. You earn what your circle earns. If you're surrounded by people who complain about money, who think wealth is evil, who believe success is luck, then you'll never rise above their limitations. Napoleon Hill called this the mastermind principle. Every great fortune was built through the minds of multiple people working in harmony toward a common goal. Carnegie surrounded himself with men who thought in millions. Rockefeller aligned with those who saw in continents. Ford partnered with those who dreamed in decades. But here's what Hill discovered that he never published. There's a specific type of person that accelerates wealth creation by 500%. Carnegie called them wealth accelerators, and when you find one, your life changes overnight. You must audit your associations ruthlessly. Who in your life speaks wealth? Who thinks abundance? Who operates from possibility instead of limitation? Those are your people. Everyone else is emotional quicksand. They'll drag you down to their level without even realizing it. This doesn't mean you abandon friends, but it means you become selective about whose voice you let into your inner circle. You guard your mental environment like a vault, because what goes in shapes what comes out. Start building your wealth-minded mastermind today. Find one person who thinks bigger than you do. One person who's already where you want to be. One person who challenges your limitations instead of confirming them. And here's the secret. If you can't find wealth-minded people around you, become one. Speak abundance so consistently that you attract other abundance-minded people to you, like calls to like. Wealth calls to wealth. Say this: I surround myself with abundance. I attract wealth-minded people. I guard my mental environment like my most precious possession. If you love this truth as much as I do, definitely press that like and subscribe button. Because what I'm about to share in the sixth law will completely revolutionize how you think about money. And it's the one thing Carnegie never told anyone except Hill. The sixth law separates the wealthy from the wishful. You must be willing to act before you see evidence. You must move before the path is clear. You must invest before the return is visible. Because faith, not hope, but active faith, is the currency that buys the future. Every fortune begins in the mind of someone who couldn't prove their vision would work. Ford couldn't prove people would buy cars when horses were cheaper. Edison couldn't prove electricity would replace gas when gas worked fine. Carnegie couldn't prove steel would build America when wood was abundant. But they acted anyway. They moved on belief. They invested in invisible realities. And the universe rewarded their faith with manifestation. And here's the secret Carnegie whispered to Hill on his deathbed. The real reason why faith works, and why most people's faith fails to produce results. This is where most people fail. They wait for guarantees in a world that offers none. They want proof before they pay the price. They want to see the bridge before they take the step. But wealth belongs to those who build the bridge while walking on it. Right now, there's something you know you should do. Some investment you should make. Some business you should start. Some call you should make. Some risk you should take. You're waiting for more certainty, more resources, more time. But what you're really waiting for is courage. The wealthy don't wait for perfect conditions because perfect conditions never come. They create conditions through action. They build momentum through movement. They generate evidence through faith. Here's your assignment. Take one action today that requires faith. Not huge, not reckless, but real. Make one decision that scares you slightly. Place one bet on yourself. Move one step forward without knowing exactly where it leads. Because every act of faith teaches the universe you're serious. Every decision made without guarantee proves you're ready for wealth. And wealth always flows to those who demonstrate readiness through action. Say this with power. I act in spite of evidence. I move before the path is clear. My faith creates my future. But there's one final law, the ultimate test that separates the millionaires from the billionaires. And if you can master this, nothing can stop you. The seventh and final law is the one that separates the successful from the quit. Persistence. Not just trying hard, not just hanging in there, but the absolute refusal to accept defeat. The supernatural ability to continue when every logical reason says stop. Napoleon Hill said it best. Every adversity carries with it the seed of equivalent benefit. The universe tests every would-be millionaire. It sends obstacles to see if you really mean it. It creates delays to see if you'll wait. It presents failures to see if you'll continue. But here's what Carnegie revealed to Hill in their final conversation. There's a specific point in every person's journey where the universe makes its final decision about your wealth. Carnegie called it the persistence point. And when you reach it, everything changes. Most men quit 3 feet from gold. They drill and dig and sweat and struggle, then give up just before the breakthrough. They interpret resistance as rejection when it's actually confirmation that they're getting close. But the truly wealthy understand this. Persistence is the price of admission to the Millionaires Club. It's not one of the requirements. It's the only requirement. Everything else is just technique. R.U. Darby and his uncle found gold in Colorado. They invested in machinery and started mining. Then the vein disappeared. They kept drilling but found nothing. Discouraged, they sold their equipment to a junk man and went home. That junk man hired an engineer who discovered that the vein was just 3 feet away from where they had stopped. 3 feet. The difference between poverty and prosperity was 3 feet of persistence. How many men have stopped 3 feet from their fortune? How many have quit just before their breakthrough? How many have surrendered just when success was about to surrender to them? You will face your 3-foot test. The moment when everything screams, quit. When logic says, it's not working. When friends say, maybe it's time to try something else. That's not the universe telling you to stop. That's the universe asking if you really mean it. Here's what you must understand. Every person who ever became wealthy faced this moment. Every single one. And the only difference between those who made it and those who didn't was this. The wealthy kept going. Write this down and read it every day. I persist beyond reason. I continue when others quit. I press forward when others retreat. My persistence is my promise to prosperity. Now, I'll tell you Carnegie's deathbed secret. The one thing he whispered to Napoleon Hill that changed everything. He said, "Andrew, the universe doesn't create wealth for the smart. It doesn't create wealth for the talented. It doesn't even create wealth for the deserving. The universe creates wealth for the persistent, because persistence is the only proof that you believe in your vision more than you believe in your circumstances. These 7 laws are not suggestions. They are not possibilities. They are commandments written in the fabric of financial reality. Decide with finality. Burn the bridge to mediocrity. Think from the end. Serve first. Seek second. Associate with abundance. Act in spite of evidence. Persist beyond reason. Every wealthy person in history has obeyed these laws, whether they knew it or not. Now you know them. The question is, will you obey them? Stand up right now. Say these words aloud with the power of conviction. I am not here to chase money. Money chases me. I am not here to beg for wealth. Wealth seeks me out. I obey the 7 laws of financial magnetism, and prosperity has no choice but to obey me. Say it again. Feel the truth of it in your bones. Let it rewire your identity from the inside out. You were not born to struggle financially. You were born to command wealth. You were not created to barely get by. You were designed to overflow with abundance. You were not placed on this earth to work for money. Money was created to work for you. But this requires a different you. The you who makes excuses must die. The you who accepts limitation must be buried. The you who thinks small must be replaced by the you who thinks without limits. That transformation begins now. Not when you feel ready. Not when circumstances improve. Now. Because wealth is not a destination you arrive at eventually. Wealth is a decision you make immediately. The 7 laws are in your hands. The choice is in your heart. The power is in your persistence. Money is waiting to chase you. But first, you must become the kind of person it can't resist. And if this message spoke to you, subscribe. This is just the beginning of something deeper, something higher, something real. And when you're ready for the next level, I'll be here to walk with you toward the wealth that's already yours. Now go, act, become. The millionaire you were born to be is waiting on the other side of your decision. Let nothing stop you. Let no one discourage you. Let no obstacle defeat you. Because you are wealth consciousness in human form. You are abundance walking. You are prosperity personified. Money will chase you because it recognizes itself in you. This is your time. This is your moment. This is your rebirth into riches. Go claim what's yours.